Hi guys, Ronda Winstead here with you. Hello, hello. It is good to see you. Today is Friday. Um, I have, let's see, today's the 26th. No, 27th. That's right. Yesterday I had my infusion and so far I feel great. So I thought what we would work on today, and it won't be a long video, but I wanted to bring you along. I thought I would just do some stitching on Rachel's, Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. This is volume 3. We are going down the garden path, and I am still on my first block, but I've incorporated the gate in my block, and I know I'm going to be doing some more in here too, but I just thought it would be fun to just chat a little bit. So grab your whatever project you're working on and, just stay well. Just visit for a minute with me. So, okay, let's get going. Okay, let me zoom in here. That's the back. Okay, so where are we so far? Okay, well, just a second. Let me just give this a tug and get that out of there. And I will show you what I have been doing. Okay, so since I did my last video, you can see that I have been adding some wildflowers. I've not done anything up here yet. I'm thinking at some point maybe some of the prompts might encourage me to go up here. Maybe there'll be clouds, maybe there'll be birds, maybe there'll be, I don't know what there might be or not be, but we'll see. So for now, I'm just going to leave that as is. And as you can see, I have just these clusters of wildflowers going on. And I added myself a garden gate. And I did that. This is the yarn that I used to outline here. I couched that, which is very cool, by the way. I'd never couched before until Rachel and Sarah showed us how to do that on volume 1, the Journal of Stitchery. And then this I have embroidered with the chain stitch. And now I am starting to add some more clusters of wildflowers. I'm going to do some more blues in here. And I've added a little bit more to do some of the yellow little flowers here too, and down here. And we'll just kind of see where we go. This reminds me of a few years ago when I was out junking with a friend. I found this old twin headboard and footboard, and they kind of looked like this a little bit, with the rounded, and it was all rusted. And I had it in my garden. I had a little garden off my back deck, kind of on a little hillside, and had some flowers and things. And anyway, so this was out there. But when we moved, I sold it with some other things, and my beautiful rusted garden gate. So anyway, that's what this is to kind of represent, just a gate. And I didn't have anything on the sides. It just, the feet, hubby just put it down, and we put a couple of rocks maybe around it to help secure that. I didn't think about adding rocks there, but oh well. We'll just ignore that part. Yeah, so let's just get started. I hope that you are doing very, very well. I hope that everything in your world is going great. And it's a sunshiny day out there, guys. I am just loving it, loving it, loving it. Now, let me see. I'm going to kind of mess with a little bit of, oh, my lighting is weird. I've had trouble with it since before Christmas a little bit. Some of you had mentioned you thought I was Christmas lighting that I was doing. So I'm trying a couple of things to see if we can get that kind of taken care of so it's not such an issue. But that is to be continued. All right, so the sun is shining here. It is beautiful. I couldn't be, well, I could be. I mean, you can always be more grateful, right? But, I mean, it could be spring and we could have leaves on the trees, but still, it's beautiful. No complaining. So, what I'm doing here, I've done some, like a long daisy stitch to create my leaves, and I didn't feel like I needed to fill them in. Excuse me. Just one sec. Let me see if I got another sneeze in there that needs to get out. I apologize. Okay. So with these little clusters, I'm doing an awful lot of French knots. And I'm only doing 2 wraps for my knot because I don't want the individual bulb or individual flower to be very big. I want to be able to do like 4 or 5 to a little cluster, and you can, I don't know, pick your flower. I just, when they said wildflowers, I was just like, oh, that is the best ever, because I have such a love of wildflowers. Always have. Always have. I'm not the cultured gardener. I love roses, but I prefer wild roses. And I just prefer wildflowers. They're just always so lacy and just, I don't know. It's like in a desert, which I grew up in. Uinta Basin in Utah is pretty deserty. Roosevelt was my hometown. And there's quite a bit of desert going on there. Now, I think, and yet, oftentimes you would see just these beautiful spots of color amongst the brown or, whatever it might be. And it's always just really, really appealed to me. And so that was a theme that once they said wildflowers, I'm like, okay, fine. I'm just going to have to be on board, even though I didn't finish volume number 2. But we'll see how that goes. It's not like I've never had a UFO before, right? And for those of you that are not familiar, like in the quilting term, that's unfinished object project. I don't know why they call them UFOs, actually. but they're unfinished. And in the quilting world, you have many. But I'm also finding in the journaling world, you have just as many. So yeah. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just adding the colors that I love. That one, that was a little bit too lacy, too poofy, but it's okay because we're just going to keep it anyway. So, yeah. So, what has been going on in your neck of the woods? Here, we have had some really cold weather. Isn't that just pretty? Just adding a little bit more and making it so the gate doesn't just look weird, just the gate. I thought about putting a little bit of fencing around it, but decided I didn't want to do that. But yeah, so adding a few little elements to give it a little bit more dimension. And I do have I have a picture in my head, and we'll see if this turns out even somewhat close to what my head is telling me. And of course, in my little picture, I've decided not to have weeds. After all, this is my fantasy. And, although, seriously, many wildflowers are technically weeds. Just prettier than some. So, yeah, if I'm being completely honest with it. So yesterday, in my infusion, I had oh, isn't that pretty? Oh, I really, really love that. Yum! Okay, this is fun. I had a different nurse in a cancer center than I have had previously. And of course, through I don't know, what is it, going on 2 years now, year and a half? I don't know. It's cancer journey. Yay! Anyway, I've mentioned before, if you've been following me, that I am a difficult stick to access my port. It's a little bit challenging to get my port because it was placed, anyway, it wasn't placed in the best position. Oops, there we go. Oh, well, there we go. Okay, let's start again. And since this is not going anywhere, I can threading a needle, and I've even picked one that is quite, well, I'm sure that's probably making no sense to you. And with my jiggly hands and 1, 2, wrap, pull down, make it a little tighter, stick it through. Anyway, it was a new gal, and I did tell her that I'm a bit of a problem just about the stick. And anyway, she ended up poking me 3 times and then called another nurse, and then they called another nurse to verify, because you're supposed to, evidently, when they poke you in your port, then they do something, and there's supposed to be a little bit of, and I don't mean this to be disgusting or gross. I apologize. It's nothing horrible. It's just part of the journey. But they're supposed to get back in the line a little bit of blood flow, just a teeny bit, to show that it's in the vein. Look at that. Oh, this is so cool. And evidently, my body was not giving up any blood voluntarily. What can I say? My blood loves me and does not want to leave my body. Anyway, so one of the nurses that has been very successful in getting my port in the past, his name is Jeff, and they called Jeff in to take a look at it to verify, even though they didn't get the blood return. Is it in? Because they obviously don't want to give you medicine that's going to just flow into your body. I did have that one time, and they had to end up giving me all kinds of shots around it to try to counteract any damage. But that was several months ago. Anyway, no big deal. Look, isn't that fun? Oh, you guys, I am so loving this. So loving this. Oh, so where was I? So he came in, hi Jeff, hi Miss Winstead, how you doing? And he asked me the same questions everybody did, and he verified that. He said, even though you didn't get blood flow back, it feels like it's there, it's good. Go ahead. So they did. So it ended up, I don't know if it was 3 or 4 times that they stuck me. And the first time I had that, I will say that it was like very traumatic. When they first used my port and they couldn't access it. And it was my first time, and I was paranoid, and it was awful, scary, and just like, oh, the cure is going to be worse than the disease. But as time has passed, I mean, it's no big deal. And honestly, because maybe I'm acclimating to it or something, but I really didn't, I mean, I felt the poke, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to die. You guys just killed me. It wasn't like that at all, duh. It was just like, okay, well, there's a little poke. Okay, well, there's a little poke. So, anyway. But that was the drama. And I felt so bad for the sweet nurse. She's such a cutie. And at some point, she was just like, I'm so sorry. And I took her hand and in my hand, and I just held it there. And I smiled at her and I said, honey, it's okay. It's absolutely okay. You are doing great. Don't you worry about it. And she's like, well, it's supposed to. I said, no worries, no apologies, no nothing. It's good, right? She's like, okay. I just like, such a sweetheart. I just wanted to hug her and, tell her it's all right, honey. You didn't do anything bad. Oh, man. Look. Oh, my gate. I'm loving it. Okay. I'm in love. By the way, let's see, what is that song? Yes, sir, that's my baby. No, sir, I don't mean maybe. Yes, sir, that's my baby now. By the way, there. By the way, when we meet the preacher, I'll say, do, 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 do. I don't know. I'm like giddy. That's bad. Okay, so now what I have to decide here, guys, excuse me, do I want to continue these into here? And I think I do not. I like the separation. I like that this, this is a little cluster because that's how wildflowers are. Well, it depends on what field and whatnot you're looking at, but sometimes you'll find them where they won't be growing, and then there'll be a little cluster over here and a little cluster over here. That's kind of what I'm going for. I do have, I don't know if you can see this very well, but I've got some stems, so I'm going to do some yellow in there. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, I am so loving this. Oh, I love that. I just love that. Okay, let me get another needle. And I know nothing about needles, so don't ask me what or why or any of those kinds of things, because I can't tell you. I'm trying to get needles that have a sharp point and have a big enough eye. Can you see that at all? That eye? That I can put my, my threads through and not have it be bad. Okay, so let's go ahead and get another little piece here. So, are you doing Roxy's Journal of Stitchery? And if you are, how is it going? If you are not, I mean, that's certainly okay. And honestly, when I've been embroidering quite a bit, my hand gets weak and I have to not do it for a bit. So it's not something that I can do all the time. Okay, there's my knot. But let's bring in a little bit of yellow here. This is a little bit different color, and I am doing these with 3. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do 4 on this one. 2, 3, 4. So I want this to be a bit fatter to show more. Yeah, that's better. That's better. And let's see, let's do a little one right here. 3, 4. Okay. And this can be just a little bit looser too. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. This is just, we're just playing here, my friends. And some parts of our state got quite a bit of snow recently. It bypassed us except for just a very small skiff that was on the ground just a little bit, but the roads were fine. There was no anything really. Let's see. I'm going to put in a couple more. Oh. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. a little bit more. Just not everything has to have a stem. It can just be, you know, cluster of flowers. And I can also put some pink ones in there. I've got 2 different colors of pink, and I've got some lavender ones as well. So there's still plenty that can be done stitching wise on this little guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, this is just fun. Just fun, 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 fun. Okay, that's much brighter. I mean, maybe not much, but it's brighter. So I think what I'm going to have to do then is periodically I'm going to have to put this color amid some of these, that it's so that the colors blend in together. So you've got, you know, this little bit here and this little bit here, and they all come together nicely. Yeah. Oh, you guys, I love this. I love this. Okay. Okay. This is like, yeah. I don't know how many of these little blue clusters I'm going to put, but so far around my garden gate, I am so happy with how that is turning out. So, so happy. So let me just do another couple of little guys down here, and then I think we better call it a day for this video. I didn't realize, my word, the time goes by so fast. We're almost a half an hour here, and I feel like we just started. We just started, and I was just wanting to spend the day with you. But obviously, that's not reasonable. We'll see how I feel. I always have the hope that, you know, like this time I may not get tired. And, and so, you know, it might be just fine. But if you don't hear from me for a while, not to fear, it will be fine. I am just resting and letting the medicine do its magic, get those booger cancer cells out of my body. Okay, how's that? How's that? Oh, I'm really enjoying this process. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Sarah. This is a fun one. Okay, so I think that we will call it a day for this one. Thank you so much for joining me. I have had a great time with you. It's not been very long, but it's like any time that I spend with you is special. And I do want to thank those of you who were able to get some of my stuff, the boxes. I had 10 of those that I listed in my shop. And I had more requests. And I will certainly do my best to get some more things out there for you guys. But I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your support. Part of me really doesn't want to declutter and whatever, but I have to. You know, I have to. I certainly wouldn't want hubby left to deal with all of this stuff, you know, when I'm not here anymore. And so, and it's a good thing, and I hope to be here for a really long time. I do. But I can work with fewer things. I still only have 2 hands, and so I can only work on whatever my hands have in their little paws, fingers, at a time. So anyway, I love you guys, and I hope that the rest of your day, afternoon, night, whenever it is, morning, whenever you're watching this video, that it finds you well and finds you happy. And we will see you hopefully really soon. Love you guys. Bye-bye now.